you can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
It's hard to pinpoint the exact moment Call of Duty died, but there's no denying that it's dead. Hi, I'm B-Town and I make videos about games I love. To commemorate the downfall of this once great franchise, today we are going to take a look at the worst multiplayer map from every Call of Duty. Let's get started where it all began. Call of Duty 1, Rocket. It's hard to judge the design of the maps in the first three Call of Duties, they were just figuring stuff out. But Rocket stands out as a masterclass in what not to do in a multiplayer map. It's both large and oddly small at the same time. You can fight on the surface amongst the bunkers, or you can head down to a subterranean level full of tight hallways. This map haunts my dreams, and it's mostly due to the tiny little port windows in all of the bunkers. You rarely ever get a fair gunfight on this map, it's always somebody shooting through one of these little portholes. All you ever see is their beady little eyes like the Velociraptor in Jurassic Park. Call of Duty 2, Stalingrad. I don't know if this is actually a bad map or I just personally hate it, but god damn, this map can fuck off. I wasn't a huge fan of Call of Duty 2 at the time, and I'm still kinda not, honestly, and this is by far the worst map in the game. People just sit in the buildings and snipe across the courtyard. It's slow, frustrating, and has a ton of camper corners. This map has zero flow whatsoever. COD 3, Merville. COD 3 was Treyarch's first Call of Duty game, and it's so different than anything else in the franchise. All of the maps in this game are equally as mid. This one stands out because it had a big kill box in the middle, and the most unnecessary jeeps in the history of video games. It's basically a little go-kart track around the edge of the map. COD 4. Creek, but it really should be Cheeks, because this map is total ass. For a long time, people didn't know this map because it was DLC, but then it got re-released for the remake. It's basically two elevated sniper positions that are separated by a canyon that runs through the middle of the map. This map promotes the worst kind of camper, hard-scoping sniper gameplay. Every time you die, you have to take a minute-long expedition just to get back into the fight and probably get sniped by some bush across the map anyway. In the old PC and 360 edition, there was also a glitch where people could get into a rock and shoot you out of it. Luckily, it wasn't super useful, but I'm pretty sure that glitch still exists, like they never fixed it. World at War. Corrosion. There are a lot of mediocre maps in World at War, but this is the only one with big yellow piles of pukey looking sulfur. It just gives you the ick, like it makes you feel dirty every time you play it. This was another relatively uncommon DLC map, but I'm really happy it never came up in rotation. It's properly creepy, it almost feels like a zombies map, but it had a super frustrating mix of long lines of sight and really close quarters, so you were either getting shotgunned or sniped, no in between. Constant one-shots, people hiding in dark corners, it was really tough to play this one. Modern Warfare 2, Wasteland. I've gone on record numerous times as a devout and dedicated hater of this map. It's a remake of Brecourt from Call of Duty 2. I was disappointed when they remade it. I'm disappointed still to this day, like 15 years later. It's a large, wide open sniper map with a set of tunnels that go through the middle, with a bunker right at the center of the map. So unless you want to get your head popped off constantly, the only thing you can really do on Wasteland is fight over the bunker. At best, it's repetitive, but most of the time, it's just torture. This was one of the most nukable maps in Call of Duty history. All you had to do was earn a 7 kill streak and you could easily drop a chopper gunner and then a nuke. Because there's barely any fucking cover on the map, if you're not in the bunker, you're basically screwed. This map has never played well, but I thought it was particularly heinous in Modern Warfare 2. Black Ops 1, Silo. I'm just now realizing we have a lot of DLC maps on this list. Silo is a total turd. It's gigantic, it has big sniper spots all around the map where you can get a high vantage point. So if your team doesn't own one of those, good luck, you're probably just gonna get picked off trying to run around. But the thing that makes Silo one of the worst maps of all time, about every minute or so, a big rocket blasts off. It's loud, it shakes your screen, it completely disrupts anything you were doing, including your train of thought. But this is just way overboard. It makes this map completely unplayable. Modern Warfare 3, Downturn. This map is just a fucking mess. It's set in New York during the events of the campaign. This game was clearly made in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis. You can fight on the street, you can push your way through buildings, or you can head to the subway to do some subterranean action. I actually like the look of the map, and when I think about Modern Warfare 3, this map tends to come to mind. But holy shit, it plays terribly. It's also really boring. You tend to have fights that are concentrated around certain parts of the map, but most of it is just empty. The design heavily incentivizes camping camping, so you want to play things like Drop Zone or potentially Domination that require players to get out of their little hidey holes. Still not worth it. There's so many better maps in the game, and the aesthetics feel relatively generic. This could be Homefront. Shout out if you got that reference. I don't know if anybody played the original Homefront. Black Ops 2, Pod. Black Ops 2 may be one of the greatest games of all time, but it's not even immune to having garbage-ass maps. Another deep DLC, this map has never made a return in the franchise. And that's for a good reason. It's fucking terrible. It takes place in this like futuristic pod-based apartment building complex thing on the edge of the sea. The elevation and line of sight made for really awkward gunfights constantly. You'd always put like 2 or 3 bullets in somebody and they'd find a way to get away from you. I think Search and Destroy played okay-ish. The bomb placements were logical and they had a little bit of friction and flow to it, but every other game mode was punishment. Holy shit, team deathmatch on this map, you were gonna go 10 minutes. There was no way you were gonna hit the kill limit. You were always gonna go 10 minutes. It was tragic. Ghosts. Stonehaven. Probably one of the worst Call of Duty maps ever. I'd say it even extends beyond Call of Duty and goes into worst multiplayer map ever created. Do I even have to say much more? Stonehaven is legendary for being terrible. It's unnecessarily huge, especially in a game that had thermal scopes and a lightning fast time to kill where you could die in 2 bullets. It doesn't make any sense that this map was even released. It's like a testing map that they were just like, oh yeah, ship it, it's fine. I refuse to believe during the testing phase of development, they were like, oh yeah, this map it's super fun. I can't wait for fans to get a hold of this thing. They're gonna love sitting in bushes with thermal scopes. This is gonna be riveting gameplay. Advanced Warfare. Fracture stands out as the worst, even though it had some really cool elements to it. There was a big frozen sea monster, and they had a Levolution event where at a certain point in the match, like part of it would just break off and float off into the ocean. But the gameplay was awful. It was just a cluttered corridor. Lots of elevation. This was also a game with jetpacks, so people would just fly around the map. Like, this is just nothing. It's like a shoebox full of trash. BO3. Rupture. Who asked for a remake of Outskirts? People didn't even like that map when it was in World at War. It's gigantic. It is pointless. They swapped out the tanks from World at War and put mechs in. That's kind of cool. And the overall design is pretty nice, but this map is just treacherously boring. Without a high player count or a game mode like War, Rupture plays agonizingly slow. There's all these little nooks and crannies for people to hide in, but to make this map work, you'd have to cut it in half, like more than cut it in half. Otherwise, just leave this relic in the past. Infinite Warfare. Carnage. This is a medium to large map set in a Mad Max style racetrack. The theming here is actually pretty excellent. Like, it looks really cool. The problem is it only offers 2 types of combat scenarios. Option 1, you can fight people in these cramped little hallways around the outskirts of the map. Option 2, long range fighting. You are either on top of one another or getting shot from a mile away. I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure Carnage even had its own limited time playlist. I don't remember clearly because you wouldn't catch me in that playlist if my life depended on it. World War II. Gustav Cannon. Another iconically bad map. Maps that push the extreme in terms of sizing are always pretty terrible. Whether they're gigantic or tiny, they never play right. You could slice this map down the middle and it would still be too big. The cannon centerpiece is quite impressive. It's kind of cool to be fighting on top of the cannon, but the valleys on either side are just a dead zone. It was also really difficult to traverse this map without getting sniped. There was no game mode that played well on it. It didn't work well with World War II mechanics. All it offered was one frustrating combat encounter after another until you finally just backed out and went to the lobby. Black Ops 4. Masquerade. This fucking map still gives me nightmares. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. All of the Mardi Gras style floats are creepy as hell. They even have one that looks like Jim Carrey as the incredible Mr. Limpet. You guys know they almost made that movie, by the way. That was like in 1999. If you can somehow ignore the nightmare fuel surrounding you, the layout of this map is still dreadful. It's almost 2 maps sandwiched together with a street in between them. The market side is cluttery and awful. The big building side is nothing but campers. And it's also imbalanced. The building side has sniper positions that give it a huge advantage over the map. Whoever owns that side is definitely going to win the game. Modern Warfare 2019. Piccadilly. I wanted to like this map. I really did. When the game came out, I was like, oh, everybody says it's so bad. I kind of like it. I was really in love with the visuals, but that enthusiasm faded quickly. It just plays terribly. It doesn't feel like anything here is thought through. They just haphazardly ported over the campaign mission without putting any thought into how to update it to make it a good multiplayer map. The worst game mode to play on this one by far was Search and Destroy. It was terrible. The bomb placement made no logical sense whatsoever. Cold War, Cartel. This game, I'd say Cold War was probably the last good Call of Duty to be released. But Cartel did not contribute to it being a great game. Bro, the bushes. The bushes. Whose idea was it to fill the center of the map with bushes? It's basically just a big bowl with bushes in the middle. It's like the Call of Duty version of a salad. Vanguard. Berlin. You know, there's nothing really wrong with this map per se, except the fact that it is basic and boring. It makes me want to put my controller down. It feels like a generic free-to-play version of a World War II shooter. There's nothing interesting, there's no cool mechanics, the visuals are passable, they're moody, sure, but this is the most basic version of a multiplayer map imaginable. You could probably host a mapping contest on Discord and get 1,000 better entries than Berlin. Modern Warfare 2, 2022. Santa Senya border crossing. Another theme I'm starting to realize while I'm talking about it is maps ported over from the campaign are pretty likely to be dog shit. Even if you've never played the game, you could look at this footage and tell what the problem is. It gave people way too much cover to camp and team deathmatch. Objective played terrible, no respawn played terrible. This thing is a nightmare. Modern Warfare 3, 2023. Yard. I'm going to throw my bias out here right away. I hate cell shading. I think it's hideous. It gives me a headache. This map would be atrocious without the art style, but it's definitely not helping it. They did the cell shading revamp to a bunch of maps in Modern Warfare 3. The entire season was full of this shit. I couldn't stand it. In the other cases, though, they were just adding this aesthetic to pre-existing maps. Yard was an original map released during the DLC cycle. It's on some Looney Tunes, Wile E. Coyote shit. I guess you would classify this as a medium map, but it plays rather small. You get into gunfights within seconds of spawning. Weird elevation, weird angles, lots of dead corners that are actually quite deep, so when you turn around the corner, somebody could either be right next to you or 20 feet away. The real design sin that's happening here is that you're punished for progressing into the map. The players that are moving around are oftentimes victimized by people who are in a prepared position. So you're either dying off spawn or you're walking 5 feet and dying to a camper. No matter what, it's always unfun. Black Ops 6. Lowtown. This is another map I really wanted to like. The first time I played it, I was like, yo, the layout here is different and interesting. They're trying different stuff. I wanted to give them credit. Unfortunately, it just really doesn't work. The water's annoying. The weird canted angles in the map also kind of give you a little bit of vertigo. I suspect why this map plays so poorly is a combination of the inherent design, but also the spawn system. It just seemed like most matches devolved into one team being locked in the back of the map. Campy, obnoxious, and totally unsatisfying. This map could get deleted and I would be happy. Black Ops 7. The newest Call of Duty, but like, who cares? Honestly, this franchise is just a vehicle for microtransactions at this point. They're asking us to pay $70 for the privilege of buying awful Fortnite-ass skins in the shop. For the sake of finishing the video, I'm just gonna pick one. Okay, here. This is the worst one. Let me Google the name, because I've barely played this piece of shit. Paranoia is what it's called. Paranoia. It's another meat grinder map for Roblox players. Feels ripped straight out of Black Ops 6. I think Black Ops 6 generally had the worst maps in the game. Black Ops 7 isn't as bad, but it's just an awful slop-ass game. The downfall of Call of Duty is much deserved, but you know, honestly, I'm still sad to see it go. That's all we have for today. Drop a comment down below and share your least favorite map in the franchise. I love reading the comments and I try to respond to as many as I can. Or, you know what, even better, share your best Call of Duty memory as a way to say goodbye to this franchise, because it's over, boys. It's over. Call of Duty's done. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon, and have an awesome day.